Hello, this is Jewel Diamond Taylor. I'm also known as the Self-Esteem Doctor. No, I'm not a medical doctor. But you know, when you go to the doctor, the first thing they want to check is your heart. And that's what I do as the Self-Esteem Doctor, is that I love to check the heart of the women that I am working with, that I counsel, that I coach, that I mentor at the conferences where I speak. It's all about emotional wellness for me. That is my platform, because I realize that many people are falling short of their purpose, falling short of glory, falling short of peace and happiness, falling short of having optimum living because they haven't dealt with the issues that are in their heart. What's in your heart? Your worries, your dreams, your disappointments, your secrets, the abuse you've experienced. Yeah, your anointing, your gifts, your talents, your ideas, your creativity, your hopes, they're in your heart. The brokenness from past relationships or dysfunctional childhood or just a dysfunctional lifestyle, it's in your heart. And so what I've come to realize is that until we learn how to open up our heart, because what I do is what I call open heart surgery, helping you to open up your heart. And I know it's risky. I know it's scary. I know that it could be confusing. It could be a scary place to go, to open up your heart. Because once you do that, you realize that the reason you are procrastinating, the reason that you can't sleep, the reason you haven't reached financial heights, the reason you can't find a happy relationship, the reason you're sick and tired all the time is because you have not dealt with the issues of the heart. Because in the heart are our secrets, our shame, our guilt, our joys, our pain, our past. And so I do open heart surgery because one thing I realize that we can never feel whole, W-H-O-L-E. We cannot feel whole until we deal with the hole that is in our heart. The H-O-L-E, the hole that is in our heart. And what we do is we try to fill it up. We fill it up with food, we fill it up with drink, we fill it up with busyness, we fill it up with getting a degree after degree after degree, business after business after business, relationship after relationship after relationship, activity after activity, because we're afraid to be still and open up our heart. And so what I know as the Self-Esteem Doctor is that all of us have been traumatized in some way or another, some degree or another. For some of it's all the way high and for some of it's very low. But until we deal with the wounds of the hearts, we're always going to be walking around either hurting ourselves, hurting other people, or we begin to do what I'm doing, is help other people. That's what I chose to do. I know what it's like to be wounded. I know what it's like to live in an unhappy home that wears a beautiful, pretty mask. And one of the things I've come to understand is that when you figure out why you do what you do, whoa, you talk about a breakthrough. When you figure out why you act the way you act, why you're withdrawn, or why you're aggressive, or why you're angry all the time, or why you can't stop eating, or why you can't stop blaming, or why you stop and you start things, it's because of the issues of the heart. Now, I had a blessed childhood. I didn't want for anything. It wasn't dysfunctional in the fact that we lacked the material things, that we lacked the external things. We had those things, but there was no warmth in my home. There was no laughter. There was no joy. We walked around on eggshells. And my sisters and I were a product of a divorced family, and we were not allowed to engage with our daddy. We wanted to terribly, but even though the divorce settlement said we were to see him once a year, those once a year visits were like a vacation. It wasn't real bonding. We didn't really get to know him, and he didn't really get to know us. So we felt like daddyless girls, and that's a wound. And here I am, almost in my 7th decade, and I'm still feeling the residue of that, okay? And so even though we were blessed, my mother had a second husband. I don't like to use the word stepfather because even though he stepped up to take care of us and he was an excellent provider, there was no warmth. And obviously, you know, my mother was severely depressed, and he chose to soothe his wounds with alcohol. So our household wore a beautiful mask. We had a beautiful grand piano, beautiful furniture, Christmas. There were presents all under the tree. We had plenty of shopping at school time and Easter time. And we didn't want for anything. So that was not our issue. We were not deprived of security and stability. What we were deprived of is the other two things that children need. They need to be soothed, they need to be comforted, and they need to feel warmth. They need to feel a sense of belonging. And when a child does not have that, it creates a dysfunction. And so I know, in working with so many women that have been raised with parents that are addicted, or parents that were missing because of prison, or missing because of divorce, or just missing in action, period. You don't even know who your daddy is, foster care after foster care, or you are dealt with women who have been abused by their parents, or abused by family relatives, or abused by boyfriends or husbands, or even siblings. I've heard some horrific stories that just break my heart. And so I am not here to compare story for story. We all have a story. You have a story. The thing is, once you have open heart surgery with me, we can begin to find out the backstory of why you do what you're doing today. Doesn't that sound exciting? Wouldn't you like to be liberated? Wouldn't you like to be delivered from that? Now, what I know as a grieving mother, what I know as a motherless and fatherless child for so long, what I know coming from a home where you walked on eggshells and there was no joy, there was no warmth, what I do know is that once you connect the dots and you figure out why you do what you do, once you figure out that you are worthy, that you are not disposable, that you are loving, it's just that you were in a garden that was absent of sunshine and water and fertilization. Some of you grew up in a garden and there was no water, there was no sunshine, there was no warmth. And what happens is that when you are missing those elements, you grow up to be a broken person, a wounded person. And people who are wounded either continue to wound themselves, cutting, drinking, sickness, overeating, overspending, self-abuse, not feeling good about yourself, or they hurt other people. But what I learned to do was to help other people. And that's what we can do. We can learn to help other people because of our story. And that is what I do. And I hope that you'll join me in my upcoming sessions that I have twice a month. And I believe that we're going to start doing it every week very soon. But right now, I'm doing it twice a month. Why don't you check your calendar and see when my next Women on the Grow Academy in Inglewood will be holding session. It starts at 7 p.m. And I would love for you to join us, because in this circle of women, I do heart surgery. I help women to have those aha moments to figure out why they do what they do. See, I had an aha moment when I realized that when a child is missing those elements that we need, the soothing, the comfort, the warmth, the stability, the security, and to be seen, when you're missing that, you will act out or you will act in. And what I realized that as a child, I was called moody. I was very withdrawn. I didn't talk a lot. I didn't smile a lot. Woo-hoo, look at me now. Look at me now. But the child I wore the badge of shame because everybody said, you're so moody. You're so sulky. You're so withdrawn. And it was because I didn't know how to deal with it. So I hid in myself. Where there are other people, their coping skill is to be very aggressive, to be very defiant, to be rebellious, and to be argumentative. And when I saw people like that, it scared me. Because, see, I didn't have a voice. My sisters and I were not given the permission to have a voice, have an opinion, be quiet, sit down. You're not to be seen. You don't question anything. We didn't understand the dynamics in our household, let alone the dynamics of our family tree. And not to mention, not only do some of us have family issues that we haven't dealt with, family secrets, family pain, family shame, whether that's those that were imprisoned or suicide or addiction or divorce or promiscuity, all those things that, don't talk about it. If it's not that, on the other hand, we've had racism, which is another form of wounding. And if we don't talk about that, we grow up very, very angry, or we become very quiet and withdrawn, and we don't want to talk about it, and we want to be blind. I don't see what's happening. I don't know what's happening. So, when I began to connect the dots and realize that I had to find my voice, and I had to do my own heart surgery. And let me tell you, I'm going to give you a warning right now. It is scary. It is scary to take off the mask. It is scary to have open heart surgery. It is scary to tell the truth. It is scary to give up your grudges. It's scary to give up the blame. It's scary to stand in your own power. It's scary, but you can do it. Yes, you can. And I'm here to hold your hand through the process. See, some of you are in recovery and some of you are in ICU. You are hanging on by a thread and you're about to die. Not physically, but your dreams will die. Your hope will die. Your spirit, your soul, your destiny, your anointing will die unless you allow open heart surgery to happen, to figure out what's going on. Where is this guilt and shame coming from? Where is this low self-esteem that you don't feel worthy? Where is that coming from? So I've had to do it for myself to say, Jewel, why haven't you felt worthy? Jewel, why were you quiet about certain things? Jewel, why didn't you have coping skills around certain situations? But I've grown over the years. I'm still growing. And that's why I call my ministry Women on the Grow, because I love gathering women to come and deal with the hole that keeps them from feeling whole. That's what I do as the self-esteem doctor. I've written books about this. And my most recent book is Wisdom for Women. You see, when a doctor sees a patient, he has tools. She has tools to do the job. A carpenter needs a hammer, right? If you're in the kitchen, you need tools. You need a spatula, you need pots and pans, you need the ingredients, you need the tools. If someone were to come and paint my house, they need paintbrushes. They need tools to get the job done. If you want to get the job done, to begin to feel whole, I've got the tools. I've got the books. I've got the retreats. I've got the coaching. I've got the tools. 32 years of doing this work. As of today, 67 summers, 67 springs, 67 winters, 48 years of marriage. Watch mama die. Watch father die. Watch best girlfriend die. Watch in-laws pass away. And then recently watch my own son pass away in my arms. And I'm still saying, because I got the tools. I've got the faith. I've invested in my heart. I've opened up my heart. I'm transparent when I'm teaching and when I'm sharing. I have nothing to hide. I'm here to serve. I'm here to help, not wound, not hurt others. That's what people do when they don't have the tools. They hurt themselves or they hurt other people. What's in your heart? The shame, the guilt, the hurt, the pain, the dreams, the anointing, the gifts, the disappointments, the rejection, the abandonment, the addictions, the abuse, the poverty, the racism, the microaggressions. I was recently stopped by the police and there was no reason to stop me. He looked for reasons and finally found a reason, and I got a warning. And that microaggression set me off for the day. I was like, oh my God, really? Really? And I just shook it off and I said, okay, just shake it off. But what do you do when you experience overt racism? What do you do? How do you handle those emotions? How do you handle those emotions of coming from a dysfunctional childhood where there was incest and rape and poverty and alcoholism and drug addiction and mental illness? How have you processed that? How have you processed that? And if you're living with it right now, how are you processing that? Are you a people pleaser? Are you withdrawn and shy and pulling back from life and you don't want to deal? Are you coming forward and stepping up and saying, present, I'm here. God, I need you to do a new thing in my life. Send someone in my life, God, that can help me and guide me. Not that I have all the answers. I don't. I'm just one vessel, one voice that I believe that can be a resource to you. God is the source, but I can be a resource to you. So why don't you pick up the phone and call me? Call me, 323-964-1736. Call me if you want me to come and speak to your event, your organization. Call me if you want personal one-on-one coaching, 323-964-1736. Or better yet, visit my website. I've got hundreds of articles that I've written. They call them blogs. I call them articles. I'm old school. It's an article. Okay, it's a blog. But I've got hundreds of them on my website. My website is jeweldiamondtaylor.com. And there you'll see videos. I have a YouTube channel. You could also order my books on my website. You can learn about my upcoming events. I don't know when you're watching this, but every year I give wonderful retreats in beautiful, I'm going to say beautiful Malibu, California. I would love for you to come. I think this would be a great place for you to experience an opportunity to exhale. I call being there drinking in liquid silk, to be with the sisterhood, to be in the sunshine, to be in this sacred retreat place that we have in Malibu, California. I would love for you to join us. So check out all the events that I'm hosting, my Women on the Grow Academy, my retreats, my conferences, my coaching, my books. And I thank you in advance for sharing this video with your circle, with your tribe. God bless you, and stay in the light.